every clip. Our smiles shine like the sun, crafting joy, embracing glee. Together we will
run. We're back.
We're back. We're back. And this is, now we're getting into what happened to Fuchs. Again, another mystery, another big point of contention. What happened to him? So what do we see? Mac makes his recording saying the storm's been hitting for 48 hours. Then he goes and visits Fuchs,
who grabs a bottle of something.
Mm-hmm. I always thought it was acid, and I think he confirms that it was acid. He says we've got to prepare our own meals, eat only out of cans. Max says okay, and then he leaves. Next thing you know, the lights go out. Something comes across him in the hallway, and he goes outside. He discovers Mac's shirt. It says McCready on the back, and then next thing you know, we see Mac going, anybody seen Fuchs? They go to look for him.
I mean, we discussed that in the timeline. This is probably hours worth of stuff happening.
Who knows how much time has elapsed since then?
No, I don't want to jump.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So they go look for him. They check with Blair. He says it ain't Fuchs. And on the way back, Windows spots something in the snow.
That's what I was going to say. It's quite covered with snow. So obviously it got burned, would have melted snow, and then snow has now refilled. So time has passed.
And that makes perfect sense right there. I never really considered that before.
Just hit me just now.
It's like, yeah, there's a lot of snow around it. Like it's been blowing for a while, covering that up.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're welcome.
And this is where they this is where they postulate, okay, why did it burn him? Or then Windows says, flare, maybe he tried to burn it. And then Mac says, well, maybe he burned himself so it wouldn't get to him. Honestly, that was the last thing said, and that's how I always believed it, that he killed himself to prevent the thing from getting him.
Because you don't get any. You get Fuchs saying who's there inside and then going outside with a flare. And then they find the burned body clearly sometime later.
Right. Contextually speaking, there's nothing there that can indicate what really happened. And even like character-wise, you see Fuchs up to that point, he doesn't seem someone who is in such despair that they would do this to themselves. You don't see them, even like thinking there's a thing and it's like, oh, I got to go get this. You don't see him even acting that way. Like Childs is the more hot-headed, wanting to do something about it. Fuchs is more passive. Even
when people have watched and done their reaction videos, they credit McCready and Fuchs as being the level-headed ones. It's like, look, they're not separating. They're not running off. They're not that idiot running upstairs as the creature's chasing you through the house.
Right.
And yet, here you are, Fuchs, you see him snapping when they discover the blood. You see him grabbing a beaker or something, and then he runs out into the snow, because even Joel Polis is like, yeah, Fuchs is kind of losing it at that point. And it is. This is like 6 days of stress, lack of sleep, not eating very healthy.
Or at all, even.
I was going to say, when you actually look around and read some of the stuff at the camp, I don't know what's really in the kitchen, but there's a lot of canned food. And then you see just cases of alcohol and milk duds. So they're clearly, I'm not kidding, there are milk duds. You see boxes of that and Budweiser beer and obviously JB. So you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well, you're running at a constant high level of stress. You're not thinking straight.
I had always believed, again, Fuchs that had burned himself. Now, while doing the research for this and watching videos and everything, I actually came up with a reason why. I had originally thought that he goes out there, he discovers a shirt, and either Blair thing or something else comes at him and goes, no, I'm not going to let you do it, and burns himself. But honestly...
There's another option.
Yes, you have to look at it this way. Fuchs goes outside, he discovers a shirt, and clearly we know that Mac is not a thing, unless you're one of those people who do believe he could be a thing, but that's not here for this discussion.
That's neither here nor there.
All right, so somebody's trying to frame Mac. Why then kill Fuchs? Because what you want him to do is, I found Mac's shirt, I'm going to go and tell the guys, holy shit.
We need to do something. We need to get rid of this man.
Our leader, who we select to help us with this shit, is the bad guy. We got to do something. No, he's dead. the thing would have no reason to kill him because, well, then it wouldn't work framing him. Because what's the point of drawing him out there to frame Mac only to kill him? Because then the plan wouldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So Fuchs is like, all right, Mac is a thing. We're in the deepest of crap here. I don't want it to get me. I'm done with this. And he burns himself. And it's a very horrible way to go. But I think it's kind of like how one of the Norwegians they discover back at the Norwegian camp does himself in. Slashes his wrist and cuts his throat.
Unalives himself.
Again, desperation. There is, can you imagine the sheer terror of this shape-shifting creature coming to get you, and who knows how painful it is to go through an assimilation.
How painful is it to burn alive? I mean, come on.
But that's the desperation.
Yeah.
This guy slices his own throat. Fuchs burns himself because he feels that is the better alternative than to get assimilated by a thing.
But also, there's that despair where he was holding. It seemed like, because you see him and Mac talking earlier in the movie in the vehicle, there was a trust there.
Yes.
And then he discovers Mac's a creature now. It's hopeless.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if it can get to him, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So there's more despair there than you can realize.
And then what adds to this hypothesis is they find Fuchs's body, and then Windows goes inside and says, hey, we found him, and then Knowles and Mac go to McCready's shack.
I turn my lights on, or lights off.
Right, and that's where they find the shirt again. There's a little tidbit, if you look very closely, when you see the shirt that Knowles is looking at and the shirt that Fuchs is looking at, they're actually two different shirts, but that's just...
They're meant to be the same.
Yeah, it's just a continuity error. It's okay. Fuchs kills himself, and the creature's like, well, that plan didn't work, so I have to frame Mac again. Let's put it in his shack and put the lights on. Mm-hmm. And again, it works this time. Because they go there, Knowles finds the shirt, stuffs it in his coat, he cuts him loose, he comes back and says, he's one of them. And the framing works this time, because rather than Knowles saying, screw this, I'm out of here, he says, no, we got to cut him loose and leave him out here, and we got to do something about this. So that's how I feel it goes down, because it makes sense to me. That's how it goes.
But it's also still just an option.
It's a hypothesis. There's no...
In the context of the movie, you can glean this. People have gleaned, it tried to kill him. It's like, maybe it's just like, I don't need another biologist. You're useless. Mm-hmm. It could have just been that simple.
Right.
And then, maybe it thought, oh, I'll leave Mac's thing here and frame Mac. Mac killed Fuchs for whatever reason. And it's, let me do this. Mm-hmm. Let me lure him out into the mess more. It
all works because there is no definitive answer when you look at the movie itself, because he goes out there, he's gone, and then he's dead. And that's it. So...
What the filmmakers meant... they left it ambiguous.
Again, they left it intentionally ambiguous. Now, a lot of people a lot of you are very aware that this scene for the death of Fuchs was not what was originally intended. And there's a big picture around, and then of where he's...
We discussed it, and we show the one with Joel actually being silly.
Hey. Waving, yeah.
Where he's impaled on a door.
He's impaled by a shovel on a door. They cut that out, and you go watch Volume 1, and they'll explain why. So they had to come up with a new scene, and Cohen asked the production designers, what can we do? And he goes, you can do anything you want. You got 3 hours. So this is the scene they came up with. When we interviewed Joel, he was very grateful for this because he got more screen time as a result of it. So
because he was supposed to have died earlier.
Right, he was supposed to be dead and discovered earlier, and then that was it. No, he got more screen time and that kind of stuff. So he was very grateful for that, and we'll show the clip here.
So the change gave you a bit more screen time as well.
It gave me a lot more screen time.
Oh, very
That's
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like I'll take it. I'll take the change. Yes.
I wasn't arguing.
Even Joel says it's a mystery.
What do you think happened to Fuchs?
The mystery.
He doesn't know.
But it does add to your understanding that they're psychologically breaking down. Mm-hmm. And I think when you're watching the commentary, Dean Cundy what was in his mind. He said he had read that, and apparently this happened years ago before they started doing psych evals, before sending people to Antarctica to do research. The circadian rhythm would get off. You would get so disoriented of like either all sun or no sun that people would just wander off.
Yeah.
And in his mind, that's what Fuchs did, is that it was something where he lost it. It got to him psychologically and he didn't know what he was doing. And he said, because that's a real thing, is that people just fuck off.
Death by misadventure, almost. Like, it's like, it wasn't intentional. It was just more or less an accident.
I'm remembering that correctly because I remember somebody talking about that.
If it wasn't Cundy, we know somebody did. I think you're right, though. I think it was Dean Cundy who said that.
Because he says, that's what some people did. And when I was doing research about that, people you're out on an expedition with the other guys and you just go your own way. So it does a credence to what life would be like down there.
And so it's again another mystery that will never be solved. Like I said, the filmmakers had no intention of actually creating an answer for this. So that's what we're left with. And again, let's see what you have in your ideas. What happened? I'd love to hear them. Please comment below. Again, be nice.
Well, one of the things I want to mention, we'll talk more about John Carpenter's storytelling, is it's not lazy writing.
I don't think so.
No, it's not lazy writing to leave it ambiguous like that. It's sort of, we grew up with those choose your own adventure books.
I remember them, the Which Way books.
Yeah. So it's kind of like he gives you so much, but then he also leaves more to your imagination. It's like, what would work for you? Because sometimes if he had just said, oh, the creature burned him, it's like, oh, come on, that's lame. Then you would say lazy writing. Because what works for you doesn't work for somebody else. So if you leave certain key things that have, there's too many options and no one's a really good one.
Yeah.
Let's leave it to their imagination. So it's like he gives you enough, but then lets your imagination run wild. What's scary for you may not be scary for me.
And again, as you said, like, the 13th man, you're the other crew member there. You still have no idea.
No. You're not omniscient. You're not given that behind the scenes or anything.
When it comes to Fuchs' original death, like I said, everybody sees the picture that he's impaled shovel.
Yeah, it was slasher filmy.
Right. The script actually called for it to be an axe. And in the script, it was Windows was with Palmer and Childs when they went to visit their little pot plants. And the axe was embedded so deep into the wood through his body and deep, they couldn't budge it. So it's meant to be a demonstration of the creature's strength.
Right.
To impale that axe so deep into somebody's body that it can't be budged because it's dug into the wood so bad.
Right.
Again, it's meant to be a demonstration of the sheer strength of this creature. And I found that kind of interesting. I mean, it was cut, but hey, I think this really works with the story. Again, ambiguity, mystery, adds to the paranoia, suspense, everything.
Right. It's done on purpose. They're leaving certain things like that open-ended to increase your paranoia, to increase your anxiety as a viewer. It's not done, it's not done, they couldn't think of anything better. So no, they're leaving it up to your horrific imagination and what bullshit you could come up with. And like, you have seen some stuff. You've seen people in car accidents, you've seen people in fires, you've seen people in the hospital. What is scary for you? Probably like devastatingly horrific for me. So what's scary for me? You probably go, nothing. So when you leave certain pieces up to your imagination and just show the reaction to it, that's what works.
I never really believed that this movie was like Lovecraftian, but that aspect where I've read, I think, just about everything that H.P. Lovecraft had published. And he does that a lot, where he gives you just enough of a description where you fill in the blanks, again, with what is scary to you. And it's different for every person. Same thing here. I guess you could say that's somewhat Lovecraftian, but I don't think that was intentional. It was just meant to be like, what would make you literally shit your pants so you would be so terrified? For me, it's one thing. For you, it's something else. And for the audiences, it's something different. So
for Ron Weasley, just put a spider in it.
Yeah.
It's that simple. For other people, they have pet spiders. So it's that.
Right.
that's why you leave certain things open, and then you know, because that part of the movie wasn't that scary. For other people, it is.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's whatever. Insert horror here that
Right.
works for you. Insert why would it happen? Insert it here and it works. But also, it's this whole movie is about paranoia.
Hmm.
The less you know, the more that paranoia increases in you. And it's like we watched that one girl kick off her shoes
Uh-huh.
because she was like, "Oh my gosh, what's happening now?" Like that's and if John Carpenter or even any of the actors watched her do that, they'll go, "Bingo, that's what I wanted."
Hmm.
You know, I want you to feel it.
Hmm.
And that's what they're doing. So, yeah, Fuchs they did not decide
Nope.
what and where. And even, I thought it was even interesting that Joel didn't have an opinion. Even he just thought, you don't know.
He just says it's a mystery.
Yeah, he just left it. He didn't
Mhm.
even try to make it sensible to him. He just left
No,
it.
it's just that was I like about that. You know, it can be a bit frustrating because, like, you know, I want to know what you think. He's like, nope, it's a mystery. It's almost like he's continuing the mystique. He's like, this movie is enduring because, you know, they're not going to say anything. Because if he actually said what he thought, then
It might
people,
be a letdown to some people.
yeah, or you know,
vindication. I was right.
or vindication, or people say, well, what he says has now become canon. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what happened to him.
Yeah.
Other people would disagree, but I like how he just left it ambiguous as well. So that's what we have for what happened to Fuchs. So let's hear what you got to say about it down below in the comments. Again, be nice.